Overnight, new details about the shooting in the waters off Cuba that left 4 people dead on a U.S. registered boat. The Cuban government says 10 passengers on the boat, including the 6 that survived and are being detained, were Cuban residents of the United States.
Una infiltración con fines terroristas.
Cuban officials say the men were armed and were trying to carry out an infiltration for terrorist purposes. U.S. law enforcement confirms the American boat was stolen from the Florida Keys and is registered to a Miami man born in Cuba. Cuban officials say the U.S. boat violated territorial waters, approaching within 1 nautical mile of the El Pino Channel. As a Cuban border guard boat approached, the U.S. boat reportedly opened fire, wounding the Cuban commander. Cuban troops then returned fire.
We have our embassy on the ground in Havana working this as we speak, asking for access to the people that were on those vessels, if they were American citizens or permanent residents.
The New York Times reports the speedboat was trying to get relatives out of Cuba.
For decades, there's been a very lucrative business using high-speed boats to pull Cuban citizens out of Cuba and get them to Florida. That may be what we're seeing here.
This all comes amid shaky U.S.-Cuba relations. Cuba is currently facing an energy crisis because of a U.S.-imposed oil blockade.
Cubans are right now on edge because our administration is talking about their failed regime and regime change, etc. And so they have to think, well, they're armed. We have to deal with it quite forcefully.
It was almost exactly 30 years ago when Cuban fighter jets shot down 2 planes carrying Americans trying to help refugees flee Cuba. 4 were killed. Victims' families are still seeking justice. Cuba has released the names of most of the men on the American boat, but they were not immediately confirmed by U.S. officials.